And welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and this is Matt, the Arizona sports guy. And what a freaking finish that was.
I told you. I told you. Watch out for Arizona with their bending in the third period. Oh, if it wasn't for an empty net goal, would you have expected if I were to tell you an empty net goal was the game winner tonight?
No, I would not have expected that. Not in the least bit. In fact, you know what it's really screwed up? Here's what's screwed up in our pick'em contest.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all that crap at the end, I only end up with 1 point. People who pick the Blues to win, are going to get a ton of points because of all those points scored late. Hoffman had 2 goals. O'Reilly had a goal in the. I mean, there's a ton of points, man. See, you never know. I had that game dead on 2-1, and that's the way it should have ended. And look at this. And then not only that, Dan Monroe called the game 4-3 with Garland. 6-point game for him. So he jumps up. And now we're going to play 2 more games.
I just destroyed my entire set. Yeah, 2 more games. Staying in St. Louis on the bright side, that means later on in the season we don't have to go back there. So you get to stay home a little bit longer after that.
No, yeah, there was a series in March that is now not going to happen. And actually, what will happen is in March, some of these games that are it opens up dates to play games instead of not playing, and it makes sense. It really does. I mean, I know it's not fair to Arizona, but and the guys are going to get stuck in a hotel room for 5 more days. But at the same time, it does make better sense down the road for the league, right?
And on top of that, it's better to play those couple of games than just not play, just no ice time, like the Vegas Golden Knights are right now for the next week until the.
No,
next
I think
game.
the Golden Knights are playing this weekend. I think they're finally
the Golden Knights had a week off.
Yeah, but they're back on the ice now. I do think they're back on the ice. I think their training facility's back open. But yeah, it was. It's a hard game to talk about, a 4-3 loss is a 4-3 loss. But the only way you can beat Ranta is go 6-on-5. That's telling you something. He played out of his gourd, and the goals that he let in were just because there was so much room, and you can't fault that. Let me bring up comments here. Dan Monroe, see, Dan's telling me 6 points. He knows it. He knows it. I got to give him credit there, Roland says he got no point. I got 1 point. Because freaking Keller didn't get any. Keller should have had a goal. I have a feeling that might change. I thought that was Keller's goal. That second one, it sure looked like Keller put it in.
Apparently they reviewed it and they confirmed it went off Schmaltz, because when you look at the play, Schmaltz is coming in from the side and Keller's essentially trying to get a stick on it, and Schmaltz is the one that gets the entire play.
Okay, so it was Schmaltz's goal, so they did review that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. Arizona came out and controlled the game from the get-go, and we talked about that yesterday. If that's what happens, there's nothing we can do about it, and Arizona definitely controlled that game all the way through. They kept the these are hard because my top 2 teams. Sorry, man. Dan Monroe. I guess he's an Arizona Coyote fan too. But I gotta give Arizona all the credit in the world in this game. They came out and played. The score doesn't show it, but they played the perfect game. I mean, that should have been a shutout. That should have been a 3-0 shutout. I can see the one getting in there. I mean, that was a pretty well done. And now you got to give Berube a little bit of credit, right? Pull the goalie with 4 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, and still put in 3 goals, right? I mean, basically almost tied this game up. Really.
He's playing 4th-dimensional chess. What is it? If Dunn doesn't mess up on that play where Christian Dvorak gets the empty net goal, it's a tie game. Completely different game.
Yeah, and it is. And it just, to have the wherewithal to do that, I mean, I give him some credit. I'm not going to take it away and go, oh, my goodness, we lost, and, the empty netter. No, it was the fact that the game should have been 3-0. You pull the goalie, you get a goal. You pull the goalie, you get another goal. I mean, he kept it moving, so it doesn't. I don't take that as a negative that it was an empty netter that won the game. I really don't. I got to give him credit for taking the chance and saying, okay, this is how we got to beat them. We've got to get control zone time and get pucks on net. And if this is the only way we can get pucks on net, well, let's do it. And okay, I'm with that. I see that as a bonus.
Oh, I still can't believe what I watched. I mean, I can believe what I watched, but I still can't. I still can't believe it. That's how that game goes down.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not on Arizona, though. Arizona didn't do anything wrong. There was no nothing that you could go, oh, well, Arizona screwed this up. No, it wasn't. The goals that went in were good goals, right? There were screens. There were too many. You're talking 11 guys in that zone, right? 12 with the goalie. You have 11 guys in front of him. It's going to be hard to see. That's the purpose of going 6-on-5.
Yeah.
Right? To get all that crowd in front of the net, to get that tip in. So I don't fault Arizona for this at all. I mean, Arizona up to that point played the perfect game. St. Louis changed their strategy in the last 5 minutes. And it worked. Basically worked.
I don't think it was just the last 5, though.
No, well, I mean,
one thing I really noticed is that St. Louis had a really good third period. Like St. Louis, I don't know if you're going to give them all the credit, but I believe St. Louis dominated that third period. It was a lot of St. Louis forcing Arizona to play back, and Arizona getting a couple chances, but St. Louis had a damn good third period there. That was just some really good hockey.
Yeah, they 18 shots to 5 shots. So that's the difference there. And for those of you that picked Bennington, you ended up with 0 points. You didn't get a negative. Well, actually, no, I take that back. He had 30 shots, he had 27 saves. So you did get a -1. It goes by saves,
it's not
shots.
Bennington's fault, though.
No, none of that. None of that. Bennington played a very good game. Bennington. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jeremy. Sorry, Jeremy, man. I hope you get better, buddy. Relax, take it easy. And do what you can, my friend. Do what you can.
Water. Lots of water. Stay hydrated.
Okay. The Yokes outplayed the Blues for 50 minutes. I agree. They did. They outplayed them. And that's what do you do? You get outplayed for 50 minutes of a 60-minute game, you're not going to come back and win. And, you can't do. Yeah, I mean, they did in the second half of the second. They did start to come up with some, but at the same time, at the same time, there were some other issues there. I mean, Ranta was just on. Ranta sees the Blues very well, and what he's got great numbers. Excuse me, he's got great numbers against the Blues. He sees them very well. He plays them. He understands how they play very well. And the Blues kept going for his glove, and his glove was on tonight. So maybe they should have started, and Panger said it, at least on ours, that they needed to start aiming for his pads to get the rebounds, and they never did. They kept shooting high for the glove, and he was on the glove tonight until it was 6-on-5, and he couldn't see the puck.
Right? One of my things when it comes to hockey, especially, it's a big, long 60-minute game. It's the little things. And now you look at that little mistake in the second, I believe it was the second period, where wide empty net doesn't get the goal, ends up fanning on it. You look at that. If that crosses the line, it is a completely different ball game towards the bottom part of this third period, especially when St. Louis came and brought it in that last 5 minutes. Do you think if that goal goes in, this goes to overtime, or do you think that Arizona empty net doesn't go in and St. Louis takes us 4-3?
I don't know. If that goes in, I mean, it changes. It does change it a little bit. I mean, maybe he doesn't pull the goalie. So I think it would probably more go to overtime. It's really hard to see. It's really hard to adjust those, right? And to see when you see that stuff. But for me, I look at the overall. You're right. The little things happen and that. But you got to look at the cause and effect of everything, right? And basically, the cause of Ranta The effect of Ranta was the Blues having to clog the middle and pull the goalie with 5 minutes to go. And you pull the goalie with 5 minutes to go, and you get a goal, and you try it again, you're going to give up. I'm not surprised they gave up the empty netter. I'm not surprised at all, right? It doesn't surprise me. I think in that case, maybe you wait to pull the goalie a little bit to see if that momentum had shifted from the goal. And that's the only thing that I think might have changed it, is if you would have waited a little bit to pull the goalie the second time. Right? To see if the momentum had shifted, to see if you had created something now, because now that empty netter that you gave up, and again, I'm not faulting the empty netter. I'm not, not faulting it. I'm just saying that hindsight's 2020. Berube did what he thought he needed to do, and it damn near worked.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Toshe, Rick Tocchet did, wonderful coaching. I give him all the credit for the coaching in this one. This was really, really well done coaching. It's going to be a fun game to write about. I mean, you write about the first 50 minutes and you go, and then you write about the last 5 where it was, there were 4 goals in the last 5 minutes of this game.
Just under 5. It was about 4 minutes. Right about 4 minutes. There was 4 goals.
Yeah. 4 minutes. Hoffman scores his at 16:45. 17:46. And the last one goes in at 19:35. Yeah. So, it was, wow. Hoffman 2 goals, and that's what Hoffman needs to do. And Hoffman's getting comfortable in his role now. And I think that's going to help the Blues out. Keller was almost absent tonight. Yeah. I mean, I heard his name called in the first, but other than that, I mean, he was absent. Garland, God, man, that guy. You know who he reminds me of? And I'm thinking if I can remember his name right, David Eckstein. He was the shortstop for the Cardinals in 2006, and he won the World Series MVP. Little bitty shortstop. I called him the Energizer Bunny because he never stopped. And Garland just never stopped moving his legs. He kept moving them and moving them and moving them. And, you hear that all the time. And that's why, I mean, he had 2 goals, right?
No, he had 1 goal and 1 assist.
A goal and an assist.
They originally gave him an assist on the empty net goal, but the NHL.com did not officially credit that. So as of right now, he ran a 2-point night. But you know what? I'll take 2 points, a goal and an assist. The guy. Yeah,
right now it's got Dvorak as unassisted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. I mean, it's. I'll wait a little. I'll wait. Probably I won't do the scores until I know for a fact that goes. But you've got Perron had 2 points for the Blues. Hoffman had 2 points for the Blues. Krug had 2 points for the Blues. I mean, you look right there, and that just kind of, where was that in the first? Where was that in the second? Why did it take 6 on 5 to bring that? And that's what I don't understand. And I'm not going to sit there and claim that I'm the smartest hockey guy in the world, because I'm not. But it just, where was that? Why did it wait to the last 5 minutes of the game? That to me, if they needed that spark, they should have changed goalies out, put Husso in. I don't know, but it wasn't on. There was no way in any way, shape, or form was that on Bennington. I cannot blame Mr. Bennington one bit for that loss. He'll get the loss, but it's not really on him.
I have a theory as to why. I think it's similar to, let's say, Colorado in those first couple of games against Arizona in the playoffs, where it took them a while to finally beat Kemper. But once they beat Kemper, the floodgates are open. And I think a lot of the times when it comes to these offensively skilled teams, when a goaltender is frustrating you, it builds up and builds up. But then when you finally get that one, the floodgates are open and you can score 2 or 3 in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, and that might be what it was too. I'm not. I don't know. I watch this game and I go, okay, for the first 50 minutes it was crap. 55 minutes it was crap, and then all of a sudden you figure out how to play hockey. That's something's not clicking here, And again, I'm not saying that Arizona. I'm giving the credit to Arizona. Arizona played the perfect game up until the 5-on-6 or 6-on-5, right? Mm-hmm. And how many times 6-on-5 do you score 3 goals? Very rare.
I've never seen it.
It's not. I mean, it happens here and there, but it's not something that happens all the time. It's really. Oh, no, and Lance says it right. I sent you a link, Lance, if you want to jump on. If you don't, that's fine too. But yeah, they had that neutral zone presence all the way. And I mean, the game is won and lost in the neutral zone, right? Now, I have a really weird way of thinking of hockey. And I think that the coach needs to be 2 things. He needs to be a poker player and a chess player at the same time. The GM's more of a chess player, but the coach is a poker player. And a poker player has to adjust to the moves of his opponent. He has to read what his opponent said or do and then play his game accordingly. Tonight, Rick controlled that. He was the dealer. He had position, and he controlled what Berube was doing, and Berube never adjusted until the last 5 minutes when he just went all in, right? And forced Toxic to call his bluff, basically. But where he, and that was the poker player part. The chess player part, where I really think that he lost this game, is the center of the ice. The center of the ice. You have to control the center of the ice. Just like in chess, you have to control the center of the board. And Blues fan says, an interesting end to the game. You're absolutely right. And this is Blues fan Rack's girlfriend, not him. So, Jordan, calm down. At one point, it has to be on the players to the play whenever. Yeah and no. I get that. I do. But I also think that there was some strategy lost here. I think that Berube waited. He didn't change lines up till the third period. He should have changed. To me, why not change them up in the second? Because it was obvious in the second you still weren't getting anything done, right? There should have been some other things done that could have been done. But again, I'm not taking credit away from Arizona. I think Arizona, and I said it and I'll say it again, played the perfect game. Right?
The almost perfect game. Oh, yeah, he just missed 5 minutes.
I don't. You know what? You can't, and that's kind of what I was getting at. You can't fault the 3 goals on Arizona.
I'd say in general, probably not. But I mean, you got to play a little tighter defensively.
Read this comment.
Y'all will never lose again.
Oh, well, okay. He changed deep pairings in a second, but and then Lance says calling a timeout after the second goal. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but coaches normally don't use that timeout in the first period. Very, very, very rare. Well, and that's another thing. I don't think that one timeout a game is right. I really don't. I actually think it should be 1 a period, right? Or at least 2 a game. I think 1 a game, especially now when you can lose your timeout well, I don't know. I think they took that away because now you get the penalty if you lose the challenge.
Yeah, I think it's just a penalty now.
But it's to me, and then he says at least after the third goal, and I could have seen that. My thing, and I want to go back to what Robert said about switching the D pairings up. Switching the D pairings up doesn't change your offense. It does in some ways, but that's what needed to be changed was the offense. That switch is what I think should have happened earlier. You can't, it's like a lazy bulldog laying down on the floor waiting for somebody to come pet him. You got to be active, right? I'm going to defer to you right now. I think I'm talked out.
I mean, is there anything specific you want me to talk about, or?
No, man. We've only got about 5 people watch us. We've been on for about 20 minutes, so we'll go another 4. We'll go to 25 mark. And so Saturday, are you going to be able to get on Saturday?
Saturday, I work Saturday.
Okay.
It depends what time I get off. I forgot what time I get off, so.
Well, that's a 2:00 game, so it's 10 o'clock my time. So I like that. So 9:30, I'll come on at 9:30. So that's like noontime your time.
I might work that night.
Time, right?
I might be closing. Yeah, we're Pacific. Well, Arizona is technically like in that little Pacific time, but we don't do daylight savings, so we're off by an hour all the time.
Yeah.
So I might be able to do a pregame. I'm not 100% sure. Let me double check my schedule after we're.
Yeah, no problem, man. Let me know. I'd love to it. Dan says we need some more 4 lines on there because they're bulls and they're more physical. Well, yeah, the 4th line probably could have played a little. I think you had to bottle them up in the neutral zone, and you never did. You allowed them to get through the neutral zone. Mason should be able to join me for postgame on the 6th. That'll be great. That's Blues fan Rack. He's from your area. He actually lives in your area or in that general. He lives in Salt Lake, I think.
Yeah.
So
that's only a skip, hop, and a jump away from me.
Yep. Hey, man, I'm not a skip, hop, and a jump away from anybody. So, yeah. So,
but you live in the best place. You live in the best possible place.
Oh, man. You know what? You know how bad I want to live in St. Oh, man, I would be in St. Louis in a heartbeat. If I could get there, if I knew I could get there and I could make money doing this, I'd be gone in a heartbeat.
How about we trade? You
can
come to Arizona because we're closer than where you're at, but we can trade. I'll go live in
yeah, just as long as you pay my rent.
You know what? I mean, obviously, I'm making the big bucks with all my 3 million subscribers.
Yeah, my rent is $24.50 for a 1,000 square foot apartment. So you want to rethink that? Huh?
No, good. No. Nope.
Yeah. As soon as I tell people that, what do you live in? A 5-bedroom house? No, I live in a freaking condo. 1,000 square foot
you live
condo.
in New York. You live in New York.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So hey, if I get you on for pregame or intermission, Saturday, that'll be great. And then we got Monday. I don't know what your work schedule is Monday, so it'll be fun, right? And it wasn't, it was an exciting end to a piss poor game. And even on your end, I mean, you look at it, you score 3 goals, but then they fell back. So that was almost inevitable that it was going to happen because I talked about an intermission where they had changed and were moving everything into, keeping in the blue zone and trying to keep it there. But in the 3rd, they just fell back. They fell back. So I mean, it was almost inevitable. So, I mean, I see good and bad in both sides of this game.
I'd say for Arizona, they have to treat this like a loss. Like if I was the coach, I would walk in there because you still have to play tighter defense. It is a 6-on-5. It is something you don't practice very often. But you still got to try to play a little bit tighter. At least, now basically almost give up the lead. So I would go in, I'd walk in there like they got blown out, and I'd be like, you have to come back and respond as if you just lost 4-1. That's just that'd be my strategy because I would take that as you kind of got blown out. I know it was only for a 4-minute span, but they kind of got blown out there for a little bit.
Well, what you did is you gave momentum to the Blues going into Saturday, into a game that you originally weren't expecting to play, right? Now, the Blues were expecting to play Saturday. The Blues were mentally ready to play Saturday. Arizona was supposed to be in Arizona on Saturday. Now they're playing Saturday. Mentally, they're going to have a tough time. So I agree with you. I think that that's probably the right move. Right? Well, hey, man.
Wait and see.
We only got a couple people watching us, so I mean, I don't want to keep you any more of your time. Got to do some thumbing and writing, and I know you've been reading my stuff, so I do appreciate that. Because you call yourself a critic, so I love how you go. You've criticized. You know, you've told me what you think about my stuff, and I appreciate that. You know, good criticism, bad criticism. It's all if it's constructive, it's helpful. Right?
Anything I can do to try to help out.
Yeah. Hey, Matt. I can't wait to talk to you again on Saturday if you can. Let me know. A lot of fun, buddy. So this is Guy and Matt, the Arizona sports guy, telling everybody aloha, mahalo, and we can't wait to see you on the Arizona Sports Guy Show or the Blue Note Fan Report. This is Guy, who's bleeding blue with you, and I have no clue what you're bleeding, dude.
I'm just bleeding.
Aloha.